Daniel Logan is here in spirit.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the younger, unprofessional. But no, he's young and he's around for that, so he'll join us in a few minutes. But it's great to be back here because it's at least 4 years since I was here. And the fandom has still grown. Everyone says, well, it's time, Star Wars is finished, it's gone. It hasn't, because there are new generations coming. It's great to see the kids dressed up in the gear. Jango Fett, Boba Fetts, tiny, big, it's brilliant. So it's going to be a better week for that. Sorry, because my friend said to me, so what do you think you've achieved in life? What have you actually achieved? I said, well, I'm still working after 55 years as an actor. I'm a Pez, I'm a Lego, all sorts of things. So I feel I've practiced. I don't really want for any more. I'm very happy with the way things are. But it's funny, my son was waiting for the very first convention I ever did. I came back and said, Robbie, look at this. Look at this. He said, what? I said, look. This watch here, you see, there's a Boba Fett helmet there. You press this button here, a blue light comes down, then you press that one, and then a green light and a dot goes on there. And I was chatting away, suddenly I could feel him behind me, and he said, Dad, you're pathetic. Well, I don't think I am, because I actually do love Star Wars. I love the character of Boba Fett. It was very funny, when I was at drama school, we had a lot of dancing to do, and we had a ballet teacher. And she saw the film, the Star Wars film, and she said, you see, dear, when you came on stage, you were walking like a ballet dancer. It was magnificent, but that was all my training. She took the blame for it, or the plaudits for it. But it is, in fact, with Boba Fett, it's very much a technical performance. You don't run around going, I'm Boba Fett, I'm dangerous. It was always, he just moves into his own way, and he's threatening by just looking. So the least you do with a character like Boba Fett, the stronger he is. So if I was to look at you, it's Charlie, isn't it? You see, he has a great memory as well. So you could look. And if I'm wearing the helmet, and I keep staring, and you're going to get uncomfortable. You'll start moving. And that's the great thing, the costume was so good. It made Boba Fett sort of stronger than he was. Also, it is the second convention I did, which is many years ago now, and I was flying to Detroit. And I remember the pilot coming out and said, ladies and gentlemen, due to terrible weather in Detroit, we're going to have to go to Toronto. I don't know how long we're going to be delayed, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm very sorry, but hopefully this... Anyway, torrential rain when we get to Toronto. We had to sit on the runway. 2 hours, and I thought, oh dear, they'll I'm late, what is going on? This is the first... Oh no, they'll know that there's a delay. So when I get there, I've got the... Yes, I know what I'm going to do. I know the hotel, I know what to do, so I'll be fine. So finally we take off from Toronto. We get to Detroit. I say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, I'm sorry, it's all been terrible. So I thought, well, I'll get a cab. Where am I? We go through there. So I rush through, and there's a line. In this torrential rain, there's a line of people for the taxi. Just at that moment, a cab pulled up in front of me. And he said, where to? And suddenly, out of the blue, I have this card. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, police, British police, I have to take this card. She looked into the car, suitcase drenched like this, and said, what's going on? Said the cab driver. I said, just drive, just go. And so you could see, as I was passing these hundreds of people, you could see them going, British police, wow, that's quite... British police! So I felt absolutely disgraced by my behaviour. It was dreadful. But, you know, if you get the chance, do try it, it works. So any questions to get us moving on this wonderful day? Was that a hand up? I ought to be, yes. 25, 30, that's 35. $35. Then you moved again, that's $40. Any questions regarding, Django? How heavy was the armour? Well, I always say to people that the jetpack was 35 pounds in weight. So every time they used to clip it on the little hook here, as they clipped it on, you do that. In fact, you were unbalanced. So I had to either stand sort of leaning this way, because if I leant back, I'd just topple over. But you got used to it. You knew it was going to be heavy, and you tried out. But at the end of each day, you had a cut the back of your knees here. It was awful. You looked like some monster at the end. And that was every single day. I'd go back, hot bath, salt in there, all sorts of things, and get yourself back to normal, and then you go through the same thing the next day. But it was still a very enjoyable time. We had a fantastic time. That was a very good question. What's your first name? James Tango. Yes.
How heavy was the helmet?
Well, funny enough, that's probably the lightest thing of all. There was a lot of sponge underneath, and a little strap here, like a motorcyclist's belt. And then I wear a hood as well to stop the sweat going into my eyes. So if I was walking, let's say that's Darth Vader, you have to imagine that, but you were walking here, I couldn't see after about 2 seconds because it used to mist up, and you'd go, I can't see. So I had to count. Can you imagine me walking along going, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you were just standing next to Darth Vader. I thought, that's great. So you say to Darth Vader, look, I've got to count 4 steps. So whatever you do, just don't move further on. So you say to them, oh, ready? And they say, okay guys, just let's see this shot, that's very quick, it's easy, come on, go, and action. 2, 3, 4, 5, where is he? And he'd step back at the beginning of the shot, and so you're stuck. It's cut, Jerry, what's the matter? Oh, sorry, I have something. Actors always do this. There's something on the floor here. Sorry, there wasn't a floor. But you have to say, sorry, there's something here. And every day there was this problem of it being far too hot. Oh God, welcome.
Hey guys, sorry. Oh, that's why I started doing the journey. Sorry guys.
I think he spent half an hour doing his hair. So.
Come on. It's like looking at my face in the mirror like 10 years older, you know?
10 years older, that's good. I mean, just discussing how difficult it was. I mean, it was very difficult for you because you showed your face. So you took... No, just... See, he's putting himself down. No, he's done a terrific thing of taking on the role. He hasn't done too much. It would be very good for him just to be, hello, I'm the young Boba Fett. He didn't, he just played it. And then the plaudits come later. And I think that's the thing with you. You've done it, and now you've got the cartoon series. You look funny. Doesn't he look funny as a character? That's why I refuse to go on it. You know, I do all sorts of things.
I love it because they cut my hair with different styles for the little clones.
Yeah.
So now when I go get a haircut, I'm like, yeah, I feel like this today. You know, just pull up a different clone and like, so you want to be this clone? Yeah.
So have a little introduction chat. And,
I'm Daniel Logan, also known as the late guy. That late and never sorry. I was fortunate to play Boba Fett at 13. I got into Star Wars through an audition that I auditioned. Someone told me that around the figures of 5,000 children worldwide auditioned for this part. I was kind of ignorant to the fact I never knew what Star Wars was before I got the audition, so I kind of went into it not knowing anything about what I was actually being given, and the work Jeremy had done prior about 30 years or 20 years before I was even born. So going into Star Wars, I never had the backstories or, you know, the expanded universe to go by. All I had was my own thoughts of how I would play this character and where you'd go. George Lucas asked me to sit down and watch the work that Jeremy had done, and I loved it. You know, it was a small but significant role. And where I come from, I asked everybody what was so good about what made Boba Fett special and what made him stand out against all the rest of the characters. And everyone continuously comes back to say that they were playing with this character 3 years before they even got to see him on screen. They saw him as a cartoon, they brought out the original toy, and people didn't even get to see this character for 3 years. But he had the coolest things, the coolest gadgets, he had the coolest toys, out at the time. And at the time, the kid had shot the missile that Jeremy's backpack would fire down his throat and choked on it, killed himself. So they kind of banned that one off the market, which actually gave way for more people to remember this character by the news or the media or whatnot, you know. So it's still Boba Fett for life before he was actually even able to be a character on screen in real life. So I watched Jeremy's work and I realized that Boba Fett didn't do too much. You know, there wasn't much to him. But then I also realized that he was a child and his father was more or less his idol. And it was kind of like the cartoon, you know, the two bulldogs, the one big dog bulldog and the son bulldog, and he kind of follows him everywhere, rescues him from the lady or whatnot, and the little foxes trying to chase him, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No one ever does. I try to explain it and people are like, what cartoon is that? I'm like,
Almost 20 minutes and I can understand.
I just got back from New Zealand, my accent's bad again. I'll tell you what, can't understand it.
Cricket's not good either, is it? But
No,
rugby
rugby.
is true.
Champions right here. Sorry, I have ADD. I'll talk about 20 different subjects. My bad. But yeah, very nice to meet you. That's a little bit of how I got into Star Wars. Basically, I was a very, very lucky kid. People told me when I got it, your life is going to be changed forever. And at 13, you're like, yeah, whatever. Like, you're still washing the dishes and vacuuming the house. You know, you're like, it hasn't changed much. Now coming out and being able to see the world, like, I have to say, Boba Fett has allowed me not only to see the galaxy, but now the actual real world, you know, and I'm thankful for this character. It's really changed my life. I love Boba Fett. I love Jeremy too.
Well, I don't love you.
That's what you were saying last night, Jeremy.
I went to the beer in Boston, isn't very good. The Boston Lager.
Yes. I wouldn't know. I stopped drinking. People are like, how old are you? I'm like 24. Like, stopped drinking? I'm like, I started early. I gave up early. I thought I'd given away in my life or not. No, I don't know. Now I'm just me. I don't have any excuse for this loopiness. Like, I used to have over now. It's like, what's the year? Jet lag, yeah, New Zealand jet lag. Hanging out with those hobbits.
So did you want to ask
You guys make it easy. I'll sit back and let you talk.
Sorry, yeah, shut us up.
No, when we spoke earlier, I have a couple of things I wanted to bring up. First, Jeremy, you know, of course, you're most noted for Boba Fett. Interestingly enough, as Daniel said, as a character, there's not much to him as far as substance. He has quite a screen presence. You know, he just stands there. He's got the really cool armor and the helmet. You know, very like a brooding presence. Much like kind of like Sauron in Lord of the Rings, Saladin. You know, this helmed figure, but very imposing. The physicality that you brought to the role. Again, you just stood there. However, like you said, when you acted it out, you know, if you just stared at someone wearing a helmet, it's very intimidating. But you were trained theatrically as well, and before you were cast as Boba Fett, I know you've done a lot. You've been in a couple of James Bond films. You were in a was it a BBC production of? No, Robert Sherwood. That was a BBC.
that was an independent.
Yeah, that's recognized, looked upon as a very a highly esteemed version of the Robin Hood legend. You know, there's Errol Flynn's Robin Hood, but then after that, there's this series as well as Robin and Marion.
Michael Craig who played Robin Hood, if you saw Robin Sherwood.
That was serialized.
Yeah, it was sort of 7 episodes.
Right.
7 episodes each season. But he had a long hair, his own hair, but he was wild. He never knew what he was going to do. And I was a peace-loving villager, head of the village. And it's funny when people said to me, they said, "What part did you play in there? Yeah, what part?" I said, "Edward of Wickham." Edward of Wickham. Edward of Wickham. I can't remember that. He was one of the head of the village people. And we went, "Why?" No, it was a great series, and they filmed it in an area where they built a village with a water. I mean, it was fantastic. And then they ran out of money, so they didn't do any more.
You know, maybe you can answer something. This is related to it a little bit. How does this series work over say in the UK? Now here, a television series goes from like October to May, thereabouts, almost like a school year kind of thing. But I remember Absolutely Fabulous. They call it one of the seasons was only 6 episodes long. Why is it they're so short? And is it more? How does it work
Well,
out?
if you look at the series, they did actually in the end sell it show that Tour America. It's totally difficult to get that slot. don't push Americans, obviously. But a lot of series I've done, I did a thing called Agony. I'm an agony aunt on the radio. And that took 2 years to push through to get into the seasons. That was way back in 1978.
In the UK.
Yeah.
You played a what? Agony aunt?
No, not an agony aunt. I played her friend.
I don't know the term.
Agony aunt is someone who will take someone's call, look, I'm terribly depressed, I've just met Daniel Logan. I don't know what to do. That person would be a radio say, no, so where are you? Where are you now? What's the problem? You know, so it's an agony aunt. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah,
Psychiatrist or
kind of like
Dear Abby.
well,
kind of like Dear
Frasier,
Abby, only.
right? Someone calls,
yes,
someone calls
similar to
in.
that. That's what that was.
And I understand that since they had to come up with a whole new number based on Daniel Logan, right? Because the number of people calling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. You get this much energy in a body, you know? It's like, what's going on there? You know, it's depressing just watching. Red Bull wants to bottle me up and storm me in showers, actually. That'd be depressing.
He keeps McDonald's going.
No, I don't supply their eggs. I supply the bacon, baby. Jumbo! No, McDonald's actually just had this thing because now I don't hang out in bars very much. I hang out in my room now. So I have more time to stare at the TV. So all I watched until I sat there and watched the whole 2020 episode yesterday on salmonella eggs, and McDonald's has just quit their biggest thing in Ohio because someone snuck in and got this video camera of how bad they treated the chickens and the bad of the eggs and the flies. And sorry guys, if you're a vegetarian, you might want to become one.
How bad did they treat the eggs?
The eggs that sounded pretty good. What happened before the egg was created was the problem. They call me egg, you know, in New Zealand that's the biggest word.
Did they beat them?
Yeah.
That's all right. Now, Daniel, you did some work, of course, New Zealand acting. Now, commercials and were you in? I forgot. Were you in any television?
Yeah, I did.
For Star Wars.
I did Hercules with Kim
That's
Sobo.
and Xena.
Yeah, and Lil Xena.
Yeah.
But Hercules was the big one. I got to work on that for a little while, and for me that was like making it the big time. You know, like, hey kid, can you do American accent? And I'm like, oh yeah, all right, yeah, I could do one of those. You know, like Paul Savage, you're like, yeah. Just give him a role that doesn't talk. You know, he's got the look, he's got the hair, he's perfect for that. I was like all of 4'5", like this big. It was so hilarious. I grew 1.5 foot in like a year. I got on Star Wars and they fed me so much that I actually grew.
You did force fed.
Force fed, fed foot.
Oh, I understand you have a interesting pair of names for one another.
Well, I get called Granddad Fett. Many times over, but I think that's really.
Well, I started with Baby Boba, and everyone would always call me like, oh, Baby Boba, and I'm like, no, baby, you know, but I got this fat old face, you know, and this squeaky little high-pitched voice, so really couldn't lose it, you know, and I think Jeremy created it, and for some reason it just like, it was like perfect. I was like, well, I'm Baby Boba, but you're Grandpa Fett, so we kind of just laughed at it, and we
Yeah,
had
sort
it.
of love. No, I think
Now he doesn't get the bounty, and I'm just coming into my bounties. He's into retirement now. Don't really trust him with a blaster or a jetpack nowadays.
I'm still quick. No, what's so lovely about the Star Wars film is it's still the smallest part I've ever played, and you know, being under that helmet and saying, you know, I always remember the dreaded day, taking Han Solo up into Slave One, and having to turn to the Lieutenant there and say, put Captain Solo in the console. Well, on the day they said, right, stand by, Jeremy, you ready? Okay, and action! Put Captain Cargo in the Solo. Well, I didn't suddenly go, oh my God, I was just left there, said, and all I could hear, they were like, cut! And I thought, oh, goodness, what can they said, let's move on, thank you, Jeremy. And then suddenly I realised I'm under a mask. They can't see me, they can't hear me, they can't well, you could say Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. That would no one ever knew. It was only a few years, I think, when I met Daniel, that I opened up and that that story. It's so embarrassing. 5 lines and a screech. Ah! That's all I had. But I still managed to muck one of them up.
But you're saying is Boba Fett, did he survive that, what was it, the Sarlacc?
The Sarlacc.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
sure
does.
Yeah.
He's too intelligent. When he got older, he's intelligent enough to rebuild his jetpack and fly out. So he's,
I saw something about this book coming out called Boba Fett is Dead or something.
but who's the author?
It's one of the exciting I saw it. It's like, that's incredible.
I think I might hunt him or she. It's fascinating that we sit here and we're talking about, because the very first convention I did was not a Star Wars one. It was actually Robin Sherwood in funny enough, Detroit. I talk about Detroit a lot.
What's up, Holmes? I like Robin Hood, man. Robin Hood.
That was a great series, and there used to be quite a few conventions. One weekend in this huge hotel, and I took my son, who also played my son in Robin Sherwood, and we went, I said, this will be fun. He was taking his guitar, and all the girls were taking, oh, God, isn't it cute? And suddenly in the afternoon on the Saturday, it was like, oh my goodness, oh wow, what is going on? And 3 members of the KISS band had walked in full makeup because they were doing a gig. So from me, I think I was sitting here with a crowd like this and saying, and then at 8 o'clock the next morning, I can remember coming and then, and the people got off their chairs. And I said, I can't be that boring, surely. And Robbie went out to have a look. He said, it's the KISS band. Everyone. So, I mean, I've done some plays in the theatre over the years where you can hear the thing like, and leaving the theatre, not because of my performance, but it's just that people, if they don't like the play, they get up and go. So, rather like today.
I'm one of those people who sit there to the end. I'm a sucker.
Maybe
So I can't get up right now. I'm going to be rude. They're going to stare at me while I walk away. Oh, man. Well, I stare at people when they walk on the
Yeah, so I've got a good idea. Can we have 4 people just to come up to the front? So be brave. Only 4. Daniel, I need you. Remember we did this before. I need you.
Oh, yeah.
Right, if you face there. Right, you're my assistant director.
Perfect.
And what we're going to
I'll be
do
your
is we're
regular
going to
Colonel
choose.
George Lucas.
Yeah, we're going to choose the next Boba Fett. We realised Dan was far too young. So
And immature.
And immature, yeah. So, right, who would like to go first?
Perfect. Good boy.
Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get Daniel to stand. Can you stand here?
Oh, yes.
I want you to walk over to Daniel, like this. That's it. Walk over to Daniel. And you can hold his shirt and say,
Put Captain Solo in it.
oh no, pretend you're holding a gun. So we're looking for the next Boba Fett. So back you go. Daniel will stand as a strong guy, and then we're going to see. Okay, and action.
Put Captain Solo in the cargo.
Very good. Slightly this morning. Think you can do it? You can say as you wish as well. You don't have to have that line.
You gotta grab it. Put Captain Solo in the cargo.
Okay? So we're going to
He said, give me him. Come here.
ready? Action. Django.
Oh, man.
It's the family. So
He's
this
going to
guy-
tell me he's like 14 or something, right? How old are you, buddy? I'm not in there. Man, that's unfair.
No smile.
I was always a small, short one at school, and I'm even a short one here today.
No smile. You can grab
Than
it,
me.
pull it up, and you can say,
What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
okay? Once more. Action.
What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
Very good. Do you think you can knock all these guys? So we're going to have you. Some people can't see this, but what you can do is, I'll tell you what. Do this. Just keep eyes like that. Don't forget. Then you can go back and back and swing around. So we'll cast him, then back again, and then I haven't said action yet. These young actors, I just... Ready? Where's the gun? Just gently look and action. What do you say then? What do you say then? What do you say to him?
Because he doesn't remember his lines.
Put Captain Solo in a cargo hold.
Why are you doing a funny voice? That's cool. Well done, guys.
Good boys, you guys had more guts than I had at 12 and younger.
Really well done.
They made me feel nervous. You had a question, buddy?
Are you guys doing anything besides like these things in theater or movies or shows
Well,
or whatever?
I've just done the most weird job just before I came out here, and it was actually teaching Spanish, English. And so I was playing, funny enough, for Grandad, so I'm finally playing Grandad now. This is where I'm talking about, you know, how my wife has passed away, but it's done dramatically, but you have to speak fairly slowly. So, you know, you're dipping and not feeling too good, but I found it more difficult than anything I've ever done. And it was 3 days non-stop talking. But it was fun to do, and the director in the end said, fantastic. And of course, you had to make the remark, nothing like Star Wars, but anyway.
They always going to put that
They
one.
always have to. So that's what you do. And then, similar to you in America, they have the seasons. That's now starting up. They're getting the money together for next March. So there are a few things being tested. But you never know what's going to happen. I like the uncertainty of being an actor. I never know. I don't know what I'm doing Monday. But who knows? But that's the excitement.
How about you, Daniel? Did being Boba Fett open up doors for you?
Dude, got me a roofing job. Anyone needs their roof done? Build a roof. No, I actually love building roofs. That's just a hobby.
What if people don't want their roof built? You might not do it.
You throw a couple of rocks on the roof and break a couple of tiles and knock on the door like, oh man, is your husband home? No? Perfect. Your roof is a little cracked and it could save you money right now by fixing your leak and later on the problem. You won't have nothing. One time a year. No, actually, sorry, about the ADD. How he was talking about his role that he's playing about going to sleep. My nana was like my mother. She's my best friend. I don't know if I talk about her too much, but I love the lady. And just like Jeremy, you'll be talking like, oh, Nan, what's up, da-da-da, and she'd be like, and pass out right in front of you, you know? And you're like, she's dead or what? So when I used to get my makeup done, it used to take like 2 hours to put all this dark brown makeup on. So my nana would just literally, so one of the makeup artist lady was like, hey? And I'm like, what do you mean? Look over, that's Nana, you know? I'm like, no, yeah, she's just sleeping, you know? She just passes up. It's unbelievable. That's a great acting choice.
It's not called a arachno, is it? What is the term built for someone who's just suddenly fallen asleep?
Sitting up and everything. Like, you're in halfway conversation, my nan's like, yeah, Kenny Baker would do that sometimes. I'm like, he reminds me of my nana. It's so hilarious.
Narcolepsy, thank you.
Yes. Now I feel kind of bad teasing her. It's like, you've got a name for it, or it's just kind of like, yes, you know? Well, actually, I'm working on the Clone Wars. I've been working on it for 2 years now. Had season 2. Knocked that one out of the park. Now I'm moving on to season 4. So, yeah, this is
Season 3.
we were kind of injured that season and kind of played our left right out.
Left right out.
Yeah, it was a good position for me to play that season. Helped me recover and heal. No, but season 4 is going to be amazing. It's already come out. I hope I haven't busted the news.
Yeah,
I heard Dave Filoni said I'll be back in season 4, so I'm praying that was.
No, it's good. I mean, I was asked to do a voice for the Clone Wars, but our unions don't agree, so I can't do it, which is a shame, but it would be nice to have done.
See, my union didn't agree either, so kind of snuck around the union and
Well, you
got
can't,
into
you
the
could,
union.
you could sort of swing around. It's best not to do that.
Now I'm in it.
Hi, yes, my name is Jeremy. Can you tell us something about when you worked on Doctor Who as Howard the Archer? And the second question is to both of you, Doctor Who relate to obviously no Doctor Who particularly. Well, I would like to get a role in as a guest star in the new series.
Well, I mean, that question there is what it was like doing the Doctor Who. Well, I did an early one with William Hartnell, which was in black and white. It's so long ago, and you see scratches taken across the screen. But I remember this particular day, this man phoned me up and said, Jeremy Bulloch. And I said, no, it's not, it's Jeremy Bulloch. Oh yeah, well whatever it is, I'm an armourer. I've got to teach you to fire a bow and arrow in like a couple of hours. I don't like actors. You've got to be here well into... Who is this? Anyway, I travelled up there to the castle, and there was a big, huge target. He said, right, now, we've got a quiver. Shouldn't be there at this time of the Middle Ages. There's the quiver, it's going to be there, up. And he hit the side of the target. He said, right, watch me. Bring up the bow here. I don't want any fancy stuff. I don't want to, hey, look at me, I'm Errol Flynn. And he said, you've got the quiver there, right there, you draw it out, and you go. And I hit the bull. You're not listening, are you? I'm sorry, well, that was just pure luck. I'm terribly sorry. That's the way things are. So he said, right, again, watch me, just simple, easy, up, and he hit the side of the target again. Oh, I see, yes, you put it up. Gotcha, thank you. Just pay attention, try and look the character. You're supposed to be a great bowman. That's a fat chance. And he was talking all the time. So I pulled it up and I went. And I was angry, I could feel myself go, and it went straight into the bull. I mean, this is sure. And there was this silence that felt like half an hour, but in fact it was a minute. You're still not listening, are you? You're still not listening. I said, well, no, that was, again, pure. Anyway, it ended up getting onto the set on the Monday morning, and he turned to the director and said, that guy, pointing at me, that guy, that's taken me more time to teach someone to fire a bow and arrow than I've ever done in my life. He thinks he knows it all. Just keep him contained. And I mean, that's what you have to do. You just have to bite with it, get on with it, and then you say in the morning, thank you for that teaching. I said, I know I got 2 balls, but although you hit the side of the target, it was some of the best. You just looked at the part. You should be playing it, not me. That's what you have to do.
Kill him with kindness.
And that was for what again? What
Doctor Who.
Is that
I was Doctor Who, the Time Warrior, where I was supposed to be the greatest archer in the world. Okay. It was fun. Any more questions?
Back there.
Gentlemen in the red Boba Fett t-shirt, you get.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was actually just wondering what your favorite memory was shared with Darth Vader. Because I don't know if there was a lot of tension, or if you guys just kind of hung out a lot, or.
Oh, with Darth Vader? No, I think the only time is I tripped over his cloak once. But that was on the carbon freezing chamber.
Yeah.
But you had to say, quick, lift me up, because I'm overbalanced. You can't get up very well. So it was done very quickly with a steam. They were rehearsing that scene at carbon freezing. And luckily no one saw it. And occasionally I'd speak to him and say, he said, no disintegrations. And he said to me afterwards, he said, I said no disintegrations. And I'm supposed to say, as you wish. But I said, I couldn't hear you. He said, it doesn't matter, I'm nodding my head. But I said, nobody nods their head like that when they're talking. So he said, oh, that character's working. He said, but we've got to, and that was just so difficult. Because you were talking absolutely. That's the lovely thing, you can forget your lines 100 times. And they say, is that okay? You go, yeah, very good, next.